Good evening to one and all. Today we are going to have a wonderful discussion on the topic role of student-centric teaching methods in effective curriculum delivery. The concept of the topic is very simple. That is, student-centered learning aims to develop learner autonomy and independence by putting the responsibility for the learning path in the hands of students. But executing in the class by the professors and making the students applying it in their studies is very difficult. So we know that to make the process easy and to enhance our knowledge in this topic, we have a wonderful resource person, Dr. V. Jude Dirmal, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, St. Joseph College Autonomous Tirchi, who will definitely enrich our knowledge.
And the IQAC coordinator of Annai College for giving me an opportunity to interact with the learned professors on this Global Teachers Day. When the IQAC coordinator contacted me last week and he said, I want to deliver a talk on Criterion 1, and in particular, he asked me to focus on the curriculum delivery part, which is the first criterion, first metric according to the NAC manual. Then I asked him, sir, if I go on to discuss about curriculum delivery, every college is doing that, what I have to speak. Then he gave me some dimensions. During the discussion, we thought of 4 dimensions. One is the role of curriculum delivery in student-centric methods. The second dimension is how the curriculum delivery is focused on the outcomes, because after this national education policy, everyone is talking about this outcome-based education, or in short, we call it as OBE model. So that is the second dimension we thought. Then the third dimension, he said me feedback, and the fourth dimension, he said assessment. I asked him one day time to tell about what I can talk. The next day I called him and informed him, sir, it is very difficult in a 45 minutes or 50 minute schedule to cover all these aspects. Moreover, if I come to physically to Annai College, it will be easy for me to conduct a workshop thing like and ask every professor to design something, or I ask some professors to deliver something that will be meaningful. Then at this COVID time, it is not at all possible. So I finally said that, sir, we can go on only one dimension at this time. I don't want to focus on all the 4 dimensions because the time is also after your class hours. So I said we can focus only on one dimension. So we chose the dimension called student-centric methods. So that's what we are here. So in the next 45 or 50 minutes, I will try to enlighten you, or I will try to share my experience. Instead of using the word enlighten, this will be the better thing. I will try to share my experience, whatever I have learned during these teaching days. Okay. With this little introduction, I will straight away dive into the actual business. I will try to share my presentation. So due to bandwidth issue, I will try to switch off my video here. So whether the screen is visible? Hello?
Yes, sir, visible.
Thank you. So as per the 4 dimensions of IQAC's requirement from your college, we conclude to focus only on this session, the role of student-centric teaching methods in effective curriculum delivery. 1 second. So before going into the actual presentation, I want to give a little gist about my college. So our college, St. Joseph's College, it is an autonomous college affiliated to Bharadasan University since 1844. So it is a 177th year college serving for the motto pro bono et vero, that means for the good and for the true. It's a private aided Christian minority institution serving the society in large scale, and I am very proud to say this is our St. Joseph's College Institute is the first institute in autonomous college category to get A double plus. That means out of 4 scale, we got 3.58. Now there are grades you can see from Holy Cross College 3.75 and one more college got 3.83 and all that. But we are the first autonomous college to get this A double plus in Cycle 4 accreditation. And our college in the state of Tamil Nadu is the only college awarded with special heritage status. We have a heritage building, Newton Museum. You are welcome when you come to Tiruchirappalli and visit St. Joseph's College to visit this museum. The award is given by UGC in 2015. And one more recognition we have, we are a mentee institution under the scheme of Paramash. That means we take 6 colleges and we train them to be accredited. And there are many things in the crown of St. Joseph's College's history, but these are the milestones I want to share before this learned crowd. Why are we here? So for 2 things, there are 2 important metric questions available in NAAC's manual. If you read this NAAC manual, you can see the 2 questions are one in criterion 1 and another one is criterion 2. In criterion 1, key indicator 1.1, it says curricular planning and implementation. Since you are an affiliated college, you are not have the privilege to design a curriculum, but you can get the curriculum from the university and you can make a delivery. So the 1.1 metric is different for an autonomous institution and it is different for an affiliated institution. So since you are an affiliated institution, the question goes like this: whether the institution ensures effective curriculum delivery through a well-planned and documented process. So NAAC expects whether your institution is delivering some content to the student community. Are you doing a well-planned exercises? I thank the management, the principal and the IQAC coordinator of Annai Velangani College for giving me an opportunity to interact with the learned professors on this Global Teachers Day. When the IQAC coordinator contacted me last week and he said, I want to deliver a talk on criterion 1, and in particular, he asked me to focus on the curriculum delivery part, which is the first criterion, first metric according to the NAAC manual. Then I asked him, sir, if I go on to discuss about curriculum delivery, every college is doing that, what I have to speak. Then he gave me some dimensions. During the discussion, we thought of 4 dimensions. One is the role of curriculum delivery in student-centric methods. The second dimension is how the curriculum delivery is focused on the outcomes, because after this national education policy, everyone is talking about this outcome-based education, or in short, we call it as OBE model. So that is the second dimension we thought. Then the third dimension, he said me feedback, and the fourth dimension, he said assessment. I asked him one day time to tell about what I can talk. The next day I called him and informed him, sir, it is very difficult in a 45 minutes or 50 minute schedule to cover all these aspects. Moreover, if I come to physically to Annai Velangani College, it will be easy for me to conduct a workshop thing like and ask every professor to design something, or I ask some professors to deliver something that will be meaningful. Then at this COVID time, it is not at all possible. So I finally said that, sir, we can go on only one dimension at this time. I don't want to focus on all the 4 dimensions, because The time is also after your class hours. So I said we can focus only on one dimension. So we chose the dimension called student-centric methods. So that's what we are here. So in the next 45 or 50 minutes, I will try to enlighten you, or I will try to share my experience. Instead of using the word enlighten, this will be the better thing. I will try to share my experience, whatever I have learned during this teaching days. Okay. With this little introduction, I will straight away dive into the actual business. I will try to share my presentation. So due to bandwidth issue, I will try to switch off my video here. So whether the screen is visible? Hello?
Yes, sir. Visible, visible.
Thank you, thank you. So as per the 4 dimensions of IQAC's requirement from your college, we conclude to focus only on this session, the role of student-centric teaching methods in effective curriculum delivery. 1 second. So before going into the actual presentation, I want to give a little gist about my college. So our college, St. Joseph's College, it is an autonomous college affiliated to Bharadasan University since 1844. So it is an 177th year college serving for the motto pro bono et vero, that means for the good and for the true. It's a private aided Christian minority institution serving the society in large scale, and I am very proud to say this is our St. Joseph's College Institute is the first institute in autonomous college category to get A++. That means out of 4 scale, we got 3.58. Now there are grades you can see from Holy Cross College 3.75 and one more college got 3.83 and all that. But we are the first autonomous college to get this A++ in Cycle 4 accreditation. And our college in the state of Tamil Nadu is the only college awarded with special heritage status. We have a heritage building, Newton Museum. You are welcome when you come to Tiruchirappalli and visit St. Joseph's College to visit this museum. The award is given by UGC in 2015. And one more recognition we have, we are a mentee institution under the scheme of Paramash. That means we take 6 colleges and we train them to be accredited. And there are many things in the crown of St. Joseph's College's history, but these are the milestones I want to share before this learned crowd. Why are we here? So for 2 things, there are 2 important metric questions available in NAAC's manual. If you read this NAAC manual, you can see the 2 questions are one in criterion 1 and another one is criterion 2. In criterion 1, key indicator 1.1, it says curricular planning and implementation. Since you are an affiliated college, you are not have the privilege to design a curriculum, but you can get the curriculum from the university and you can make a delivery. So the 1.1 metric is different for an autonomous institution and it is different for an affiliated institution. So since you are an affiliated institution, the question goes like this: whether the institution ensures effective curriculum delivery through a well-planned and documented process. So NAAC expects whether your institution is delivering some content to the student community. Are you doing a well-planned exercises? Whether you are documenting everything. This is the metric 1.1 they are asking. Moving to criterion 2, there is another metric in key indicator 2.3, which is teaching learning process, where we have a metric 2.3.1. It asks us, what are the student-centric methods you are adapting in your institution? Again, I am repeating, what are the student-centric methods you are adapting in your institution? And they have categorized into 3 things: experiential learning, participative learning, and problem-solving methodologies. So in these three categories, how your institution is delivering the content to enhance the learning experience of the student community. So what I thought is, I take my talk into two parts. The first 1.1.1 metric I will talk on as my first part in my talk, and I will move a 20 minutes duration for the second part, that is the metric 2.3.1. When I asked your IQAC coordinator, he said around 70 people may participate in this event, in this virtual event. There may be professors who may be very senior to be, may sit here and learn this lecture. And they know very well than me how to deliver the content, or they know very well than me how to impart it to the student in a better way. But according to Steve Jobs, the technical guru, there is a phrase in Buddhism to have beginner's mind when we go and attend every session, whether it is online or it is an offline. So what Steve Jobs says, it is wonderful to have a beginner's mind. Whenever you learn something, so we should have a clean slate of mind. Then whatever the resource person or whatever the person you invite them to talk something, that will get into your mind. Not every point, at least 3 points may get into your mind. That is the success of the resource person. So I ask every audience in this virtual meet to make your mind clean slate, so that whatever I tell that may known to you or may not known to you may get into your mind in a better way. In his introductory speech, the IQAC coordinator has said there are many stakeholders in the field of education. We have taken two members. One is the teacher, another one is the student. And in our early Gurukula days, there will be only teacher-centric. Okay, a teacher will tell whatever he knows. He will share his knowledge to his student community. So the students will politely listen whatever he says. So whatever he says, right or wrong, they will never question a teacher. This trend totally changed. This trend has now totally changed. We should be ready to learn from the students. Whether we are bringing students to the center or not, that is different. But we should be able to share our experiences to the student. At the same time, we should also ready to learn from the students. Whether he is a UG student, whether he is a PG student, whether he is a MPhil student or research scholar, not matters. We should ready and we should be able to learn everything from the student community. So there should be a two-way communication between these two stakeholders. So there will be a two-way communication between the teacher and the student community. Okay. So in this context, I want to make my presentation in following 4 points. One, according to NAC manual, they ask every policy on certain things. They ask us to design a policy on research. They ask us to design how we are going to mobilize revenue. They ask us to design a policy on infrastructure. They ask us to design a policy on standard operating procedures. But when I look into the thing, I thought that there is no policy in part of curriculum. Nowhere in any of the criterion metrics in curriculum, criterion 1, they never asked a policy about the curriculum or the delivery mechanism. So what I thought is, why can't we make a policy statement on the delivery aspect? So what are the components will be there in our policy statements to make the delivery a meaningful way or a better way when it reaches to the audience? So I want to give some points on how to make this policy statement when we go on the delivery. The second point, according to NBA's ACAD, Washington's ACAD, there are 12 attributes a graduate should possess when he leave your institution. Again, I'm saying there are 12 attributes are there. Okay, these attributes every graduate should possess when he leave your institution and go for an higher education or for an employability thing. But according to the curriculum delivery, I thought when a teacher makes the student a center part, he wants to impart 4 graduate attributes in the student's mind. So what are the 4? We will see in the second part, the 4 graduate attributes, what we have to put into the student's mind. My third part of the thing is, what are the planning we have to take when we go for an effective delivery mechanism? So before delivering a content, we should very meticulously plan. Without a planning, if you take something to the student-centric, surely it will go into, drastically it will fail. And fourth aspect, I want to take some of the student-centric approaches which are followed in our institute, in my St. Joseph's College, and some of the things I have learned from the nearby institutes, some of the premier institutes like SRM or Sastra or VIP, that I want to share. What are the things they have used as a delivery mechanism? In the final part of my talk, I give some supportive measures where you can, through which you can support your student as an affiliated college. So these are the 4 parts I want to discuss today. Hope if I complete these 4 parts in a meaningful way in the 50 minutes, that will surely inculcate or surely enlighten you something in the teacher's mind. I want to stop when I complete the third agenda, that means strategies for effective delivery. If you have any doubt, you may either post it in the chat window so that the IQAC coordinator can take the question and they can ask, or you yourself can unmute your mic and you can ask the question. So I want the interaction at the end of the third agenda. If you don't want to discuss at that time, you can go and keep your questions after the completion of the fourth agenda. So this is what my plan to complete this session. Okay, so now we are moving into the actual thing. See, everything which has come to existence must also cease to exist, as nothing is permanent in life. Change is an essential element in life. We are seeing everything nowadays. Even from across years, you can see there are dinosaurs which are not exist nowadays. And after this mobile comes, we never see a squirrel outside the environment. You can see once we use personal computers, we move to laptops. From laptops, we move to mobile phones. So nothing is, or change is an essential element in every part of our life. So when everything is moving much faster, why can't education is also cannot move much faster? So you can see when there is a change should happen in education sector in 1945, that change should take 25 years time. So whenever there is a drastic change should happen in education, it takes 25 years to make that process. But around 1980s, it takes around 1 year or 12 to 13 months period to make this change. But if you see in 2020, every 12 hours, there is a changes happen. Every 12 hours, not a single day, every 12 hours the change is happening. You can also witness that before COVID-19 era and after COVID-19 era, you see not only computer science department, nowadays every department without a PowerPoint presentation, they are not entering into the classes. So the change is inevitable. So the change is inevitable and everything is moving much faster. So in this type of drastic change, according to NEP, the education sector is called a knowledge economy. We cannot predict the uncertainty of the future. So anything can be changed. As teachers, we should try to adapt to this new norm. So we should try to adapt everything in this new normal. Okay. So any institutions, big goals are achieved when goalposts are seen and understood. The phrase says that any institutions will reach heights when you have a proper plan. Whether it is curriculum delivery or admission or research or your infrastructure facilities developing, anything, if you have a proper planning, if you have a strategic vision that is aligned with your institution goals, you can surely have a better goal for the institution. So curriculum delivery, this is the topic we have taken. When the topic taken as curriculum delivery, it has two words. One is curriculum and another one is the delivery process. So curriculum normally refers to the knowledge and skills students are expected to learn through their interaction, experiences, planned, unplanned activities and events. It is concerned both the content and the process. So how you are creating the content is very crucial, and how you are delivering the content to the student community is very, very crucial. So here the process refers to, I am talking about the delivery process. The delivery process refers to an arrangement of your instructional material that are provided to the students. The process includes units, lessons that teachers teach. Not only the lessons the teachers teach, whether these lessons are correctly imparted, this the teacher must assess herself. So what he or she do? He or she creates some assignments and projects and given to the students. And these materials can be of wide variety. There can be reading materials, there can be podcast, there can be video materials provided for a particular course. And you can also, after delivering this material, you formulate different assessment methods used to evaluate the student learning. So the final goal is, when we want to talk about curriculum delivery, you or your institution should have a strategy by which the curriculum enables students to achieve their learning goals. So without the learning goals are achieved, if the student going outside, it is not at all helpful to the society. So your curriculum should make the learning goals to be achievable. So actually your IQAC coordinator wants to focus that also. That is the second domain, outcome based thing, how to deliver. But 45 minutes we cannot cover everything. So we are focusing only on the student-centric methods. Okay. So in this curriculum delivery method, I want to say three things. Every teacher teaches, no doubt about that. Every person teaches very well. Okay. Whether it is online or offline, the teaching, they want to give better effort. And in those affiliated colleges, the retention period of the staff is very, very less. So every teacher wants to prove their mettle. So they put lot of efforts. So teaching, we will never say any problem with teachers. But at the same time, teachers should take care whether they are only teaching or they are providing support for my students to learning. Whether my teaching content are able to get into the mind of my students, this every teacher has to ask. Simply teaching for 45 minutes or 1 hour without an outcome, there is no use, or a student may not tell anything before us. But what is the outcome? Okay, so we need to support 100% for the learners to learn the complete content. And the third point I want to tell very particularly for all the teaching community, so guide the student community. Continual guidance. I never use only the word guidance. I put the word continual guidance. That means there will be mentors. There will be mentors for a class. We call them as class in charges. But in some institution, some teachers take extra effort. For example, if there are 60 students are there in a class, then the head of the department will allocate not only one class teacher for the class, he allocates 3 teachers. That means one teacher will take 20 students in his custody. Then only the continual guidance or mentorship will be possible. If single teacher will take care of all the 60 students, means it is very difficult. But in an affiliated setup, okay, there will be classes where every teacher is allocated one class. Then how, sir, I can go and take another class students as my mentee? This all out of interest you have to take. Okay, how when we make our kids to join in a school or in a college, we expect a continuous support on our kid. Same way, some other kids are coming to our part. So we have to take that kid as our own kid and try to give our effort. So not only teaching, you have to support for their learning and you have to give a continual guidance for the mentorship. So I will go for the policy statement. So what I expect is, in consultation with your principal, in consultation with IQAC, in consultation with the criterion team coordinators and criterion team members, I want to draft a policy statement how you are delivering your curriculum. So first point in your policy statement regarding this curriculum delivery should be, there should be a teacher learning centric approach in curriculum delivery from teaching, learning and assessment. We call it as either teaching, learning, assessment or teaching, learning, evaluation as I given in the slide. And it provides support, guidance to the progression of the students. Either he go for higher education or he goes for an employability or entrepreneurship or imparting the skill development. Here SD stands for skill development, EM stands for employability and EN stands for entrepreneurship. So there should be a learner-centric approach from the institution for this TLE strategy. This is the first point in your policy statement. Second point, you should assure empowering the learners appropriately so that they meet the expectation of the curriculum and fulfilling their individual potential. How it can be achieved? This is done through clear, unambiguous and unbiased advice and guidance by the staff members via assessing the skills, knowledge, aspirations and potential of each individual. The third point in your thing, every learner may come from different environment, different background. So your teacher learning assessment should be a personalized one. You should adapt a different learning methods. You should adapt different learning styles based on the fast learners and based on the mediocre learners, based on the slow learners. This you define a policy. How I am going to deliver my content for the fast learners. How I am going to assess. See, there will be two types of assessments. There will be summative assessment, which can be done by your university. But there is a formative assessment. That mark is under your control. So you can explore lot of things in the formative assessment. Don't give assessment or material to everyone equally. Think how I can divide my advanced learners, how I can divide my mediocre learners, how I can divide my slow learners, how I am going to assess them. If you assess every student in an equal way, that cannot be a better assessment. Okay, this is the third statement you can have in your policy. The fourth statement, you can fulfill the expectations from the outside world. Suppose in your particular program, let it be BSc Computer Science, there are 60 students. When they go outside, maybe 5 students have arrears, 55 students have passed out and they are going to outside world. Whether they are competent enough based on our curriculum, they can express what they have studied, either at the outside world. Not for, don't think about global level, at least in national level, they can go and attend some seminars and talk what they have studied or whatever they have assimilate the content. So expectations of the outside world, whether it is implemented in your curriculum, that you have to take care. And this is what I have earlier also discussed. Assessment should be different for your advanced learners and slow learners, at least for the formative assessment. We cannot touch in the summative assessment. And the sixth point, how you can know your learner or your the student take or assimilate the content. Get the feedback from every course teacher. It is not necessary that only IQAC has to take a feedback for every course at the end of the semester or at the end of the year. It is a duty or responsibility of the teacher to take every semester whatever course he or she is teaching. So how you are formulating, what are the mechanisms you are adapting to take a constructive feedback? This can be incorporated in one of the statements. And after collecting the feedbacks, how you are evaluating what the student said based on my teaching, without an unbiased nature, evaluate the feedback and how your institution, how are the course teacher is going to provide effective guidance. So these 7, and one more point, document everything. So whatever your feedback taking or whatever your assessment is doing, different for the slow learners, different for the fast learners, document everything. Why documentation is crucial point? When NAC visits to accredited institution, okay, at that time, nowadays, 70% speaks on documentation. So document everything, whatever your feedback collecting, whatever your assessments are doing, document everything. Sufficient assessment records or volume of documentation will speak the credibility of your institution. So I have completed the first part of my session. I am moving to the second part. So I said according to NBS Washington Accord, there are 12 graduate attributes, but I want to focus only on 4 graduate attributes, which will be essential in point of or in connection with the curriculum delivery. They are: number 1, academic excellence; number 2, communication; number 3, personality and leadership skill; and he should be serving the society, how you make the student as a global citizen. So I take the first attribute, academic excellence. So in-depth knowledge should be imparted to the student community. Not only in his core discipline, you should impart the knowledge in his surrounding discipline. For example, a computer science student not only studying courses related to computer science, he will not survive in the outside world, in the current context. So when the student studying computer science, he must either take some courses, let it be a certificate course, let it be a value-added course, relevant to the discipline. Relevant to the discipline in the sense, that means there may be electronics department, there may be a electronics department, or there may be a mathematics department. How mathematics will be helpful for a computer science? You know, without mathematics knowledge, in today's world, any computer science graduate cannot shine when we go to the outside world or industry. So, how you are delivering a curriculum, not only to the discipline, your institution should think how I can offer a course to my student, not a value-added or certificate course irrelevant to the discipline. It should be interconnected with my discipline. Second one, how I am going to create the new knowledge. Today, most of the industries wants a student, when they take to the industry, some research trust. Don't think a student should have a research, it will be not only in MPhil or not only in PhD. Even a UG student should know some latest technologies which is booming nowadays. You can see artificial intelligence. This is one area, not only relevant only to computer science. Many people wrongly think that when I talk about artificial intelligence or robotics, it is only relevant to computer science. Not at all. So this AI or robotics, they should have a very well, or they are going to rule the world in another 10 years or to 15 years. So every student in your organization should have a research thrust on this latest trends. Don't think that research means they have to deliver something, they have to create some models and they have to demonstrate. Research thrust means whether they have understanding of the fundamentals, what the industry expects. Fourth one, so without knowing this fundamental concept, they can never apply the knowledge to the real world problems. So every teacher should create or formulate some problems and they have to deliver to the students. So your class should not be always teaching 45 minutes. Divide your class into segments. See, first 2 minutes you are taking attendance. Next 5 minutes you have to recall. I am saying most of the teachers never recalling what they have taught in the previous class. Maybe the class maybe happened in the week before. How can you expect the student to remember everything? Even as teachers, we cannot remember all the things. So recalling what we have discussed in the last class is a very crucial element. And after recalling 5 to 6 minutes, you teach what is the correct instruction you are prepared for this class. And whatever you are teaching, formulate some problem for the last 10 minutes and ask them to work. Never say that some departments or some programs cannot do this. Every department can formulate some problems, or at least you can ask them to browse. Or at least you can ask them to browse in the net and take something and try to present it to you. So applying knowledge to real world problems is a very crucial attribute. And today, collaborative learning is very, very crucial. This is the point I said in my earlier thing. When I say two stakeholders, teachers and student, they should first collaborate. Collaboration in the sense, institutes can collaborate, premier institutes can collaborate, we can collaborate with the global institute, this all collaboration. But here collaborative learning means learning between the student and the teacher, focusing on unfamiliar problems, not the known problems that everybody knows. You know better not, so you can explain well. So you have to explore the unfamiliar problems. So this is the first attribute. And the second attribute, communication. So most of the time what I feel is, whether a girl or a boy, when he goes to the campus interview, either it's on campus or off campus, they are not able to sell themselves. They are not able to tell what they have studied in this semester. They are not able to tell what are the courses. They cannot be able to list what are the courses. So how you make them to communicate effectively at different situations is one point. And you have to make participative in their constructive decisions and debates. Include them. You may have a lot of committees in your institution. Make one student from different programs to take part in the committee. Normally, I don't know whether your IQAC committee has a student member, and IQAC committee have one student member. According to the composition, they have student member. Surely, I think your IQAC committee will have. Likewise, every committee, teachers will be there primarily acting, but include one or two students also into the committee to make constructive decisions and make them participate in the debates. And third thing, they should have ability to apply something creatively, critically, and decision making. Today we are in this 21st century. So every industry, whether it is an enterprise or it is a company, they look creativity, critical thinking, and decision making skills. Whether our curriculum are imparting all these things. This is the biggest question mark before us. And the third attribute I want to focus on, personality and leadership. Self-reflection. The student should be able to reflect himself, whether I am able to sell myself, confidence building, and third one, he should be a change agent when he go outside the society and workplaces. Global citizen, are we making them social and civic responsibility, whether you have courses on cyber security or gender sensitivity? If you don't have courses like this from your university, try to give courses particularly like cyber security or gender sensitivity to your students and make all the students to take such courses. Then only they understand what is society, what is civic, human rights course. If these courses are not present in your university curriculum, you give them as a certificate or value-added courses. Accepting social and cultural diversity, then only they will get, and they should have awareness on the human rights, equity, and ethics. So these are the four things: academic excellence, global citizenship, and personality and communication. These are the four attributes. Whether you are inculcating all the 12, at least through my curriculum delivery, I can able to instill all these four attributes. It's well and good. With this, I come to conclude my second part of my talk. I go to the third part of my talk, which talks about what are the planning measures I have to take before taking the delivery to the student. I don't know how you are planning, because I have not interacted much with your IQAC coordinator, but what I want to tell, your planning should happen for every semester. Your planning should not come to an end only at the beginning of the academic year. Plan for every semester. So your planning surely will have the academic calendar preparation. I also know that everybody will prepare timetable, everybody will prepare workload. Okay, and it is signed by the head of the department, your principal will sign. Very good, good. But you should develop, means your institution should develop a management information system or a ERP system through which your people should enter what program or what class or what course or what lectures he is taking. Why I ask every staff to put this into an automated system or computer system, then only there can be a proper resource utilization will be there. Because many institutions will never immediately go on spend much on infrastructure facilities. Many institutions want us to reuse whatever infrastructure we have. I see in many of the institutions, instead of reusing the infrastructure, they make the management to go on asking to give more infrastructure or create new infrastructures. This is not the right thing. This every institution should not do. Try to see whether there are some resources, whether it's an ICT resource, whether it's a class resource that is idle. Try to reuse or try to use it effectively. That is what I want to know. So if you enter everything, what class I am taking, how many hours I am taking, what program, whether I need a projector, whether I need a smart board, these things, if you enter into the MIS, then that software will clearly tell where there is resource lack. So in our institution, we are following this methodology so that they are effectively assigning. If, for example, one department staff, we have 5 smart classrooms. We have only 5 smart classrooms. If one department requests for one smart classroom, they will send the request to the MIS. The MIS will see whether there is a provision, we can allot this smart classroom to this particular teacher. If there is a free, immediately the thing will be given to the staff member. So resource allocation is very, very crucial. If you do it manually, it is very, very difficult with more number of departments. So you need an MIS software, or nowadays they are calling it ERP software for optimal use of infrastructure. And after this COVID era, you can see many people are using ICT in a better way, or they are forced to use the ICT. But we cannot expect suddenly this change to happen. So I expect the management to conduct some orientation program to the faculty to deliver the content better using this ICT tools. So here, this is somewhat our MIS is there. Because of time constraint, I am not going to discuss this, how we are allocating and how we are planning our assignments, okay, in each semester, and how you can see, if possible, I take my laser pointer, 1 second. You can see how the staff will tell what lessons I'm going to teach, what material I'm going to use this. So these things will be entered to a planner. So the planner will very clearly tell which resource can be used currently by which person, whether it's free or not free, and he can use it to the or give it to the other person. So the second part in the planning strategy is the role of the teacher. The role of the teacher is very, very crucial. So today, in the morning, when I walked in the veranda, one student came to me and very politely said, "Sir, you are very sincere." The student is saying to me, he is one of my students, he is saying to me, "Sir, we know you are very sincere. Your lectures are good, but they are not interactive. See, my lectures are not interactive." So today you see lot of MOOC courses are available or lot of YouTube videos are available. If we are not delivering the content correctly or not delivering the content interactively, the student will go to some other media and they can watch. You can see that thing. You can see nowadays in class itself, if you say something which is not up to his mind, he immediately go to his mobile phone and start searching the word. So make your lectures interactive and student-centric, and never go for chalk and talk methodology unless it is required. There are some cases you should use chalk and talk. I am not denying it. But if there is no need, don't go for chalk and talk. Use technology for your instructional transactions. You promote group work. See, every individual will have their own capability. In the beginning also I said, divide advanced learners and slow learners. Dividing them is not only for giving different assessments. what you have to do, you have to club these advanced learners and slow learners, try to mingle them and try to promote this group work. Try to improve your assessment methods. Not assessment means many people are thinking after this Google form, only multiple choice question. Like quiz based assignment is the only way of assessing, or doing assessment based on writing some 2-mark question or 5-mark question. Many methods where we can take assessments, we will see later if time permits. And once this assessment is over, try to get the feedback. Yeah, unbiased feedback every course teacher should take, and he has to analyze himself whether the outcomes are reached. So teacher is playing a huge role, and there should be something, institution has also do some initiatives. So what institution has to do, they have to promote the faculty to upgrade. They have to make their faculty to go for some syllabus revision workshops or ICT based training programs or higher end conferences to make the delivery better. So they have to encourage their faculty to use the ICT effectively. And fourth one, the institution should ask the faculty to create e-content. When I talk e-content, don't think that it should be at least uploaded in YouTube, or it should be like your Swayam content. Not like that. A content for your learners. Your learner is in your surrounding area. They have some language barriers. You only in your own language can deliver the instructions very clearly. So create a content that should adapt to your learners. So the institution should ask the teachers to create e-contents and put it in your institution repository, in your institution website. And when I talk about feedback, every teacher should take a feedback. I said IQAC will also take the feedback. So institution should go for an action taken report based on the feedback from the student. And two more, the second point I want to discuss in the same initiative institution, think or keep in mind that your library should have sufficient number of books and journals. Encourage the students to visit your library. Make it as a part of your assignments and make it as a component in your formative assessment. Ask them to refer some journals, magazine, and give some extra marks for the students who is going, referring some books and delivering it to the teacher. And I expect 1 or 2 computers in all the departments with good internet facility. This institution should take care, because we cannot force them to create contents without computers. So I expect every department should have 1 or 2 computers with good internet facility. And this is very, very crucial. I think your institution will have this language lab. If your institution doesn't have, immediately you can start a language lab. Because by second, graduate attributes focus on communication. So I expect English department to take this language lab in an effective way. So creation of language lab is very crucial. And your IQAC corner said there are some few smart classrooms are there. If possible, try to increase 1 or 2 in every academic year, and support financially the teachers anytime for content generation or attending some programs. I expect institutions to support not the 100%, some part of the financial support an institution can provide to the teachers. So I think I can stop here. I have covered 3 parts. If the teaching community have any doubts on these 3 parts, they can ask first or interact with me. Then I can go to the final part. Is it okay, Professor? Hello, Professor?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I have completed 3 parts, sir. If your people want to ask something, they can interact. Anything they want to ask from the 3 parts. I have said the first part as how your curriculum delivery should be. The second part, the graduate attributes. Third part, some planning mechanism for the student-centric people. Any doubt? Whatever I have
No,
said.
sir. No, sir. It's very clear, sir.
Very
You have
clear.
touched everything very clearly here.
Okay. So if there is no doubt, I will try to complete in another 15 minutes. Okay, I will not take much time. The fourth part of my presentation. So in the beginning I said there are two questions according to NAC manual. Whatever I have discussed previously up to some 30 minutes or 35 minutes, the planning part, how your institution should make a well-planned document process so that students can have a better outcome when they go outside your institution. I come to the second part, how you can create some student-centric methods based on SNAC requirements, either on experiential learning, participative learning, or problem-solving methodologies that will enhance their learning experiences. Okay, I want to touch some of the things in my institutions which we are following, and some of the things I have seen in other institutes. With that, I will conclude my presentation. Okay. Recently, I have some beautiful lines I have heard. See, students nowadays thinking that the schools and colleges are non-essential. Sorry, sir. There is some disturbance from the audience.
Shiva, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So there are schools and colleges which are considered nowadays is a non-essential services during this COVID time. See, before COVID, what we said, we will never allow a student with a mobile phone. We will never allow a student with a mobile phone. If a student takes a mobile phone, we punish them. See how this COVID changes. We think that we ask the student to bring mobile phones, take assessment, read some material. See how this COVID changes. And teachers also saying, if you are not following my class, don't worry, I will post my material. Okay, I will post my material in the Google Classroom. You can take something and learn. So these are the things we are coming. And you can see from this thing, there are many things after this post-COVID have a change. Most of the classrooms nowadays, they remove this whiteboard because they fix some projector. Attendance they are taking, but they are not taking from a slip, they are taking it from digital apps. And they are using projectors, they are uploading their notes, PPTs, they are creating LMS systems, classrooms are empty. These things we are seeing after this post-COVIDian academia. This COVIDian thing brings challenges in academia. There are four things, the challenges I want to bring for this experiential learning. One is lecture content, how we are delivering, how the teacher-student engagement will be there, and what are the feedback and assessment we can do. How to create content. See, content creation is not that much problem in nowadays because we have many open source tools to create. If you want to create a video, there have many free open source. Screencast-O-Matic, one of the beautiful tools I normally use. It will record your web camera, your PPT material, and create a beautiful content for you. The second question, who will make the content? You teachers has to make the content. It is not necessary that one teacher has to make the content for one course. You 2 or 3 teachers can take the course. For example, cyber security. This course can be handled or can a content be generated by 2 or 3 staffers collectively and make the content a better way. And you can surely create content for common courses like EVS, foundation courses, and put it on the institution's repository. Then delivery and reach. How you make the content to the students. If you simply throw the material to the students, whether it is video or whether it is a reading material, that is no way is going to help. That's what I said. Once the video is given, with that video, you ask some 5 questions based on the video and understand whether he is able to tell something from the video. If he is not able to answer for all your 5 questions, there is a learning disability of the student. He is not able to catch your points from the video. Then you can assess, then you can get the feedback, okay, how you can take the content to the students and see that what are the resource constraints in the delivery mechanism, whether every one of your students have data accessibility correctly. Because we don't expect every student have better internet connectivity. Then how you are going to deliver the content when a student will not have a better internet connectivity? Then this is the third point I want to tell: teacher-student engagement. How you are connecting with the students, whether there are contact tables or there. In the flipped classroom approach, there is one approach is very popularly coming, flipped classroom. In flipped classroom approach, what they are asking us to do, they are asking every teachers to upload the material earlier. They ask the students to study the material and come to class for certain hours. Now they are asking every students to come for 5 hours. How that change the education landscape is going to move means they are slowly moving to blended learning or flipped classroom approach. In flipped classroom approach, the teacher will upload a video or text material, ebook, something to the learner, and the learner will try to learn from his home and come to class only for discussion. So this will reduce the maximum workload on the teacher part, but see that teacher will act as a facilitator and try to give better solution on this such type of learning, a flipped classroom or blended mode. Not only this teacher-student engagement will give better result, we never touch this fourth point, the feedback assessment, how you are going to assess the learning process, how unbiased way you are taking the feedback, and how you know whether 100% your students are utilizing your material. So these are some of the student-centric methods we followed in our own institution. So for experiential learning, we ask every student, we are forcing this, every department will expect a student to do one or project in the current semester. Before the summer college, there will be an even semester. Based on the even semester courses, they expect every students to create some summer projects. And slowly our labs are moving phygital. Phygital means physical labs will be there. For some labs, advanced labs, we are taking some virtual labs from IIT Bombay and integrating into our course curriculum. So lab sessions are moving to experiential learning something, and English language department will use this drama fest or role play for experiential learning. And we have a very beautiful program for the past 30 years. We call it a Shepherd, a community outreach program. Why this is? When the student go to outside, he should be a civic or social responsible student. We have this community or outreach program, and we made mandatory internship program for UG, and some PG programs have made mandatory internship for PG. And we expect the students to go field or industry visit in every semester. But nowadays, these things are due to COVID, it is not fully materialized. But all other programs in this experiential learning category are done well in SGS. Regarding participative learning, we encourage students to take part conferences, workshops. Wherever there are some nearby colleges conducting some conference, we force or we motivate the students to take part, and we ask them to do group discussions. This every institutions will do, and there should be peer-based learning. See, today student want to learn more from teacher. Student want to learn from his friends. So create a culture of this peer-based learning. So this is the practical learning approach or participative learning approach your student should take. This we are following. And problem solving methodology are also followed in some departments. They are giving some case studies, MBA department or commerce CA department, they are following. And some departments like physics or chemistry, they ask their students to develop some prototypes. They ask to develop some models. See, in computer science, we ask the students to develop some sensors where they are studying called IoT. A course is called Internet of Things. So how they can understand? Ask them to develop some models, develop some prototypes, and you can also encourage them on project-based learning. I want to quickly complete. So, in one of the institute recently I saw that SRM is taking, SRM Institute, you know, from Chennai, a very famous institute, a university type. They have some e-learning initiatives, very popular they are doing, not only for SRM, to the outside world also. They have a e-lab where they have given experience on real-time programming, learning practice environment. They support peer-based learning and active collaborative learning and problem-based learning. They have a e-skill lab where they have online technical abilities practice environment. They said that their examinations are also conducted using this tool. Currently, they said 1.5 plus lack of technical questions are there to conduct the self-paced learning. And they have a remote text. Students outside also can access, getting prior permission from SRM. They have an access which serve around 10,000 students to remotely log in and access the journals and facilities. So likewise, your institution can also think some services to the student community and provide it to them. And you as an institution can support your students either in academic way or by giving proper guidance. So this will be my final part of my lecture. As an academic support, you can develop their communicative skills, technical competencies and field skills, develop self-learning competence, encourage your students to read books, magazines and articles, encourage your students to attend seminars. Whether he is interested or not, ask them to go and attend some seminars, ask them to write an article, because I saw many students are not able to write a letter. But how my student can write an article? This all the student, the teacher has to take care and try to improve continually. There can be remedial teaching for slow learners. You can try to introduce some open source ICT tools and open educational resources. This OER should be familiar first for the teacher. Then only they can give these resources to the student community. And as a mentor, try to have your institution should have a well-equipped mentor system. This mentoring system not only for documentation or NAC purpose, the student should feel free to contact the teacher at any point of time, either personal or intellectual. Okay, you as a teacher should have a continuous follow-up of your mentees. Then only the student-centric methods, whether what I said in SGSE or what I said in SRM or whatever measures you are going to take in your institution will be following. So in my final thing, your institution should move ahead. So the education scenario where the winds are blowing in a very hard way, whichever institution build windmills using this wind which is blowing in a hard way and taking this wind and building windmills, they are going up. The other institutions will take rest and under a shelter. They will not bother whether rain comes or whether wind blows, they will not take care. But which institution build windmills, they are going to the top. So hope I instill something in the audience mind. With this I conclude here. I am happy to answer for your queries if you have any. Sir?
Thanks again.
Participants, it's your time to clarify your doubts.
Sir.
Madam, kindly introduce your name and which department you are.
Hello, sir.
Yes, madam.
Sir, how the e-content helps?
Yes, madam.
Sir, how the e-content helps to deliver this curriculum, sir?
Madam, have you attended any massive open online courses?
Yes, sir. I attended one course that is organized by MHRD regarding the e-content preparation, but can't able to get the full view of that e-content preparation, sir.
Okay. Actually, according to MHRD, they said when you want to develop an e-content, it should follow a 4-quadrangular approach. That means you should have a plan how you are going to deliver, what tools you are going to use, what is your course content, how you are dividing your course content. This is first part. Then you have to construct a lab inside your institution. That is the second part. Then the third part, you have to create the materials and assessments for your course. And the fourth part, you have to deliver. If you follow this thing, every person in every institution can create a content. This is what MHRD tells. But if you look into these MOOC courses, most of the courses will given maximum to premier institutes like Indian Institute of Technology or IIM. If the next level, if they are not getting the course, NITs can get, and if the NITs cannot get that, some universities can get. But a content according to the 4-quadrangular approach developed by MHRD is very, very difficult. What we thought is, there are many open source tools. I said that we have Screencast-Matic, okay, I have one more, OBS. These are some beautiful tools are available with us. With this tool, you can develop some content with your PowerPoint. You can have your PowerPoint with your video, you can try to explain. This content, not only you have to present the content, after some 5 slides, you have an assessment. Based on the 5 slides, whether the audience, that means the student, learn from your 5 slides something from your 5 slides. Then, if the student doesn't learn from the 5 slides, if you are not able to answer your assessment, again ask them to take the 5 slides. And again you put the assessment. Now, surely this time, after the second attempt, your student can answer at least 1 or 2 questions. So, in this way, you can create your content with only PowerPoint by bringing some assessment, by asking some few questions. You can create a video and you can put it to a learning management system. That can be a Google Classroom or your institution repository. Whether I answered your question, madam?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, madam. Sir, any other questions?
Sir?
Yes, sir.
IQAC convener.
Yes, sir.
As convener of IQAC, I am more than happy about your presentation, sir.
Okay, sir.
It is on as per what I expected.
Okay, sir.
And it exceeded my expectation. I'm
Okay,
particularly happy that you displayed those 2 metrics, 111 and 231,
231.
based
Yes,
on
sir.
which the title of the program was evolved.
Yes, sir.
And you covered lot of things under 111.
Yes, sir.
Your talk encompasses lot of things: mentoring,
Yes, sir.
graduate attributes, communication skills.
Yes, sir.
Yes, lot of things your talk encompassed. I'm
Yes,
very
sir.
happy about that. And
Yes.
then student-centric methods also.
Sir,
Yeah.
one thing, sir, I want to interrupt. Dear participants, as your IQAC corner said, there are 2 questions which I have taken. I have taken lot of things from the first part. I minimize very particularly some time limit for the second part. Why? Because that is where the student-centric methods you cannot copy from another institute. See, SRM institute can develop student-centric methods for their own environment. We can develop student-centric methods for our own environment. Likewise, Annai Velangani College should take some methods, but they cannot copy from another thing. That's what I limited that. So you can use your creativity and create a policy statement. According to Annai Velangani College in a Kanyakumari district, we can have this own e-contents, this own student-centric methods to deliver the content for a better learning outcome. Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir. I have been coming to this point only. Thank you very much, sir,
Yes,
for
sir.
telling this last few lines. Thank you. very
Yes,
much.
sir. Yes, sir.
Any other doubts, participants? Thank you, thank you. Thank you, sir, for your valuable, vibrant, admiring, and effective presentation from new ideas and for your lovable answers.